And we'll hold all questions until the end because a lot of the questions might show up in the presentation. So that being said, I'm going to remove your ability to chat. So please welcome Dr. Dominica Pearl, the reason why I'm wearing a pearl necklace this evening, Associate Director of our Office of Academic Advising. So take it away, Dr. Pearl.
Well, thank you. Like Jay said, my name is Dominica Pearl, and I'm wearing pearl earrings, so we accessorized a little bit. So welcome, Cougar families. I'm going to get started with our presentation on preparing your students for enrollment at Cal State San Marcos. Again, my name is Dominica Pearl, and I'm the Associate Director of the Office of Academic Advising. And I've been working at Cal State San Marcos. Well, I've been working in higher education for about 23 years, and then at Cal State San Marcos in advising for the last 19. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I have 2 daughters in high school, a junior and a freshman, and my son will be starting middle school in the fall. And that makes me sad. Although my kids aren't college students yet, my oldest daughter is in the throes of college preparation. I'm getting ready for admissions applications and we're putting dates on the calendar. So I'm beginning to feel the pressure that you all must have experienced at some point in recent years. I just messed up my screen too, like Jay just did. So here's me. I'm presenting to you from my house, so it's a little different than I'm used to. Okay, so I was also a first-generation college student way back in the late 90s, and I especially understand the anxiety that comes with navigating the university for both you and your students. And before I get into the agenda, I just wanted to let you know that a copy of this presentation will be made available to you, and it includes important links like this one for the Office of Academic Advising. Just about everything I'll go over today can be found on our site. So make sure that you have this link handy. Your students have probably already accessed it quite a bit. All right, so here's our agenda for the evening. I'll start by providing you a little background on Cal State San Marcos, the anatomy of our campus, and how advising works. To support your student, I'll go over degree requirements, basically everything your student needs to know to graduate. Then share our degree planning tools that students will use to enroll and that we actually use to graduate your student. And I'll share academic advising services and academic resources, cover fall enrollment, and then finish with some thoughts on how to support your student. And at the end of the presentation, Jay and I will be happy to answer your questions. Sorry for you in there on the day. You're gonna have to help me. Okay, so let's start with the big picture. Cal State San Marcos is set up much differently than high school. We're made up of 4 colleges, and this can be confusing for students at first because they think Cal State San Marcos is a college, but colleges are a subset of the larger university. These 4 colleges are often referred to by their acronyms, such as COBA, TES, CHABS, and CSTEM. We are a very acronym-happy university. The reason that this is important is because each major at Cal State San Marcos fits into one of these 4 colleges. So if you hear COBA, that means College of Business Administration. TES is the College of Education, Health, and Human Services. CHABS is the College of Humanities, Arts, Behavioral, and Social Sciences. And CSTEM is the College of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. There are 37 majors and 51 minors at Cal State San Marcos, and that number continues to grow every year. Every student must choose a major field of study, and you can see here which college each of our majors are housed in. Some students have 2 majors, not all students, but only one's required. A minor is optional and consists of a smaller set of requirements than a major requires, and students can declare up to 2 minors, but again, that's not required. Sometimes students like to minor in something that accentuates the major or something completely unrelated, which is fine also, because that's something that they're interested in. It's possible for students to change their major and minors if they find they're interested in a different field of study. However, some majors at Cal State San Marcos are impacted. And that's important to know because this means there's more students interested in the major than there is space available. Impacted majors generally have a different set of requirements that must be met before a student can declare it. Students wanting to change into an impacted major should meet with an advisor to see if they qualify. And an example of an impacted major at Cal State San Marcos is business administration. I did put up all of the majors here as they are right now. Again, new majors and minors are being approved each year. I wanted to point out COBA because COBA has 1 major but has quite a few options in the major. So a student would major in business administration and then pick one of the options in business administration. So they would have, I'm a major, like they would say, I'm a major in business administration with an option in accounting or an option in marketing. A couple of fun facts for you on majors and changing majors. About 80% of students in the United States change their major at least once. On average, college students change their major about 3 times. When I was an undergrad, I changed my major 3 times and then ended up graduating with the major that I originally started. Jay, did you change your major at all when you were in college? Did you change it?
I originally thought I wanted to be an ASL interpreter.
Oh, okay.
And my deaf friends and community members were like, I don't want you to stop with just an associate's degree. I want you to keep going.
Nice.
So yeah, I kept going, of course, got my bachelor's and my master's at Cal State San Marcos.
Got it. I got my bachelor's in political science and then changed history, religious studies, and then back to politics.
It's a journey.
It is a journey. Okay, so moving on. There are 3 types of advising at Cal State San Marcos. So we're in the advising section of the presentation. So you can see the 3 different here. All 3 advising entities work together to make sure your student's successful. They include faculty advising, specialized academic advising, or specialized advising, and then staff academic advising. Faculty advisors assist students with career suggestions, internship advice, graduate school options, course approvals. A lot of times students will go to faculty to ask, what can I do with this major once I graduate? And that's appropriate for faculty advising. Specialized advising are programs such as PASO, ELP, CAMP, TRIO, SSS, coaching. They're counselors or coaches who provide specialized guidance and support to students to empower and encourage and retain specific populations, such as first-generation students or underserved communities. Those are just a couple of examples. And then there's staff academic advising, which is more commonly known as the Office of Academic Advising, which is my office. It consists of professional staff academic advisors who advise all admitted undergraduate students at Cal State San Marcos. Academic advisors advise by major. So your student will see an advisor who is assigned to their specific major. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 advisors who advise in a major, especially the larger disciplines, like COBA has 4 advisors, psychology has 3 advisors, liberal studies has 2, and so on. We advise students from the June after they're admitted. So for new students, we would start advising them in June of this year. Current students, we advise from the June they were admitted until they graduate. We work with your students specifically on their academic progress, help with course selection and planning, make sure they're choosing the right classes, and explain policies and procedures. If students are part of a specialized program, we encourage them to also meet with an academic advisor before they graduate to make sure they're on track. Because we work closely with the Office of the Registrar to process graduation evaluations, and sometimes we catch stuff a semester ahead of time, and it's good if students are also following up. All 3 groups of advisors are here to help your student achieve their academic goals and support them on their journey towards earning a degree. This is a picture of 3 of our actual academic advisors. This is Susie, Colette, and Justin. Susie advises computer science and the arts and ethnic studies. Colette advises liberal studies, human development, kinesiology, American Indian studies, and I think she has, and women, gender, sexuality studies. And then Justin advises psychology, child and adolescent development, and social sciences. So that's not our whole staff, that's just 3 of them. Okay, so let's talk about what it takes to graduate. What we are most commonly known for helping with, and what we get our most questions are about. What do I need to do to get out of here now that I'm here? There are 3 components to earning a degree at Cal State San Marcos. Here's your general education or GE requirements, university requirements, and then major and or minor requirements. General education are categories of courses known as areas A through F that all students must complete to graduate from a CSU. So any of the CSUs will have the same GE pattern. And then I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Next, we have our university requirements. At Cal State San Marcos, this is a CSU requirement, but students must earn at least 120 units to maintain a minimum, must earn 120 units before they graduate, must maintain a minimum GPA of 2.0 and are required to complete a diversity and equity requirement. And then this residency here doesn't mean you have to live in California. It means that a minimum of 30 units must be completed at Cal State San Marcos. And that's for our transfer students if they come in with a lot of transfer work. So they need to have at least 30 units to be considered at Cal State San Marcos for the field. And then lastly, there's our major and minor requirements. Each minor has a specific set of requirements, or each major and minor has a specific set of requirements, and they generally include about 45 to 70 units. Students are able to view all of these requirements in detail in our enrollment tools, which I'll go into detail later. It's their academic requirements report, the degree planner, and in our GE major and minor worksheets linked on this page. So when you get a copy of this later, you can click on GE worksheets or major and minor worksheets. And then I'll show you where to find these now. So our GE worksheet, I have it already up right here. So this is just an example of our general education. This is the worksheet for current or new entering students for fall and spring. We also have worksheets archived over here. So if you wanted to look for a previous year, you're welcome to go look in our archive. But we're going to go back to our GE worksheet. So students need to select a course in each row of these categories. So there's everything from basic skills to ethnic studies. So in some category, in some rows, there's more than one class to choose from. And in some rows, there's just one class. So for your A1 requirement, there's GE 0102. And then if you go down to like your C2, there's quite a few choices. And again, this is linked in the presentation, so you're more than welcome to go back to that. And then our major and minor worksheets, which should have stayed there, apologies. This is our major and minor worksheet page. You can see all of our majors and minors. They all have a worksheet. These are all of our major and minor worksheets on the state side. Excuse me, my chat keeps popping up. And I should turn that off. So, for example, this is the American Indian Studies major. And it just kind of explains a little bit more condensedly what the ARR, the Academic Requirement Report, will show you. And it also kind of condenses and makes it a little bit neater and confined than the catalog description. So we just made these as a supplemental for students, just to kind of show them what classes it takes to graduate with a major in American Indian Studies or whatever major that they choose. And those can all be found on our website. So this is the Academic Advising website. And just click on the left-hand navigation right here, major and minor worksheets, and they're all here. These are right now we're updating. So this includes our 23 to 24 worksheets. And some of them are still the last year's worksheets because we're waiting for faculty to approve them. All of our worksheets from past years. So if your student declared their major in fall 22 or fall 21, you can go into this worksheet archive again and look for a worksheet from past years. And students are bound to the year that they enter the university. And there's other ways to change into a different catalog, but we're not going to go into that now. Your students can come see an advisor if they have questions about that. All right, so let's go back to the presentation. And we'll go over setting a pace. So one of the ways you can help support your students is by discussing with them their pace to degree or their unit load each semester. As I mentioned in the last slide, students must complete a minimum of 120 units to graduate. This is usually not a problem in our high unit majors, such as in the sciences, liberal studies, business administration, but in other majors, students may need to complete some additional elective work to reach 120 units. Each of these circles represents one unit. Oops, did I go back? Sorry about that. Each of these circles represents one unit. And if a student wants to graduate in 4 years, they'll need to average 30 units per year. So an academic year, so from fall to summer. That 15 units can be 15 for fall, 15 for spring, or it could be 12 units in fall, then 6 units in the summer, and then 12 units in spring, and then maybe make up a class in intersection. And so if a student takes less than 30 units per academic year, then they will need additional time to graduate. An example of this would be if a student can only take 12 units per semester because of their work or other obligations and is unable to take summer courses. They may opt to graduate in 5 years, which is totally okay. I think I ended up graduating 4.5 years, so be a little bit longer. And I'll explain more on that in a minute. So a little bit more on units. Discussing unit load is important with your student because it's important to know in college that 1 unit of coursework equals 1 hour of class and then 2 hours of homework per week. So a 15-unit schedule would require 15 hours of class and then 30 hours of homework each week, which adds up to about 45 hours a week, which is more than a full-time job. It's important to keep this in mind when students are deciding how many units to take each semester, especially if they plan to work or if they have extracurriculars or other outside commitments. When I was an undergraduate, I was involved in Greek life and also worked about 20 hours a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And I found it difficult to take 15 units each semester and give all my attention to my classes. I found the sweet spot by taking 12 units each semester, and I was able to manage my extracurriculars. And then I made up the units that I needed in summer school at intercession. And again, like I said, I did take an extra semester to graduate, but I didn't have a full load that last semester, which was nice because I had an internship my last semester and it worked out for me. So there's definitely different ways that you can get that 30 units per academic year. Okay, and then as I mentioned before, the university has several enrollment tools. So this is, we're going into how your students enroll in their classes and track their graduation progress. Excuse me. Students have these tools to help map out their entire degree plan. So all 4 years of their degree, and then also build their class schedule that works for them each semester. Students have 24/7 access to these enrollment tools. The tools include an academic requirements report. This tracks all graduation requirements by indicating what classes are met, in progress, or still need. So this is the one that has the green circle, the red box, and then the yellow triangle, meaning in progress. And that's what the university actually uses to graduate your student. So make sure that your student is checking that to make sure that the in progresses, the completes, and the still needs are all correct. And if they're not, then have them come in and see an advisor. The degree planner is an interactive online tool that students use every semester to plan their courses for the following term. And it also gives them an idea of pace and how long it'll take to graduate. So it shows every semester until they graduate on that. And then the schedule assistant is an electronic tool that helps students find classes and build their schedules. And then all these tools can be found in My CSUSM when students log in to their online student center. If they need help with these tools, then we have that for them. If they're unsure of how to access them, they can find videos and guides on our website. The link right here is on the side when you receive this PowerPoint, or they can go to the new student enrollment tutorial. We keep that up year round. So even if they're not a new student anymore, they're welcome to go in and look at our videos and our guides to explain how to enroll in classes. The first couple of semesters, students find that they're a little rusty, and then they get the hang of it. By the time they're seniors and graduating, they've got it down and they figured it out. But it is a little bit of a learning curve. They can also reach out to coaching for enrollment tool support. Coaches will help them learn how to use all of these and walk them through step by step if they need it. Or they can go to the Office of Academic Advising virtual front desk for assistance from one of our intake or peer advisors. And they're really great about helping students with these tools. And then also their academic advisors, if they come in for advising, can help them with these as well. The next question we usually get after you guys learn about these tools is, when do students pick their classes? And I am to tell you, once the schedule is published, students can begin selecting their classes and loading their shopping carts. On the day and time of their enrollment appointment, students will be able to enroll in their selected classes. The fall 2023 class schedule was just posted on Monday, April 17th, and enrollment appointments were sent to students on Monday as well. They can also see their appointment time and dates in their student center, right, when they log in, so they can find out. So if their enrollment appointment is on April 24th at 12 p.m., then they have to wait until 12 p.m. They won't be able to enroll at 11:59. The enrollment period will be this time from April 24th to May 5th, so that starts next week. Students are able to modify their schedules from the enrollment date. So from April 24th all the way until the first 2 weeks of the semester, the add drop period. The fall semester begins on August 28th, and so schedule modification can happen until September 8th. However, I would encourage students to enroll in their preferred number of units as soon as possible because classes will and do fill up, especially throughout the summer, because we have new students that come in the summer and enroll in classes. So whatever is left after our continuing students enroll, the incoming students will take. So I encourage your students to start building their shopping carts as soon as possible if they haven't already done so. The spring 24 schedule, the spring schedule is usually released in mid-November. We don't have the actual dates yet for spring 2024, but you can look forward to seeing the class schedule and the classes available in mid-November. And then the spring 24 enrollment period is November through the beginning of December. And we usually take a break during Thanksgiving week, but usually we have enrollment the week before Thanksgiving, no enrollment during the week of Thanksgiving, and then enrollment after Thanksgiving. That could change. So just generally November, December is good to remember. Not listed on this slide are our summer and winter sessions. Students are able to enroll in summer classes in March. Summer classes are usually held June through August, and then can enroll in winter classes in October. Winter classes are held in January, and there's just 2 weeks in January. So there's not a lot of classes offered in January, but or for intersession, winter intersession. But it's a good time to get some classes taken care of, but it's a short amount of time. So just keep that in mind. 2 weeks of an entire entire semester worth of content is pretty intense. Okay, moving on. If your student needs help selecting classes or planning for future semesters, they're encouraged to meet with an academic advisor. Connecting with an academic advisor is not required at Cal State San Marcos, but it's highly recommended that they check in with us at least once a year. Some majors, you'll hear faculty advisors say that they prefer you reach out to academic advising each semester, but once a year is a good general rule to have with yourself, just to make sure you're on track and you're not missing anything. It's easy to track these things for yourself and your tools, but just to make sure that sometimes students just like to come in and get a thumbs up, like you're on track, you're doing great. They're welcome to come in as much or as little as often as they want to. If they have questions at any time about their requirements, schedule, or policies, anything to stay on track for graduation, they're welcome to reach out to us. The Office of Academic Advising offers several options for students to connect with us. We have the e-advisor. Students can email us. That's up on our website. They just fill out a form, and usually they'll receive a response from an academic advisor in 3 to 5 business days. Sometimes it will take a little longer if we're in the middle of an enrollment period. So next week, we are going to have hundreds of students knocking on our door, so the emails might get a little delayed. We have scheduled appointments. These are 30-minute one-on-one in-person phone or virtual appointments that students are able to schedule from the same day if there's openings to 2 weeks in advance. So we open up new appointments every day. But you won't be able to see more than 2 weeks in advance. And we don't offer scheduled appointments during our drop-in periods. So if we are in the middle of an enrollment period and students say, I can't get an appointment, it's because we're only doing drop-ins so we can serve more students. Drop-in advising are 15-minute one-on-one appointments. There's no appointment required for those. We prefer virtual so that we can get in touch and contact and meet with as many students as possible. And these are first come, first serve. If your student's planning to attend drop-ins, I highly recommend that you encourage them to come not on the first day, because it's usually very, very busy and they'll have to probably wait for a very long time. The traffic usually dies down towards the end of the first week, and then the second week is usually pretty calm. So I would highly recommend saying, if you want to come in and see us on the first day, that's great. You'll probably have to wait for a little bit of time. Because we get over 300 students who come in at once and want to talk to us, and that's pretty rough for us. But we get through them, and sometimes students will leave and come back another day. So just giving you that heads Other services that we have are group advising. Group advising is usually by major, and we offer these usually before the enrollment period for enrollment assistance. This last week, I just know about kinesiology offered a couple of group advising sessions to help with enrollment support. And that's a great way to just ask general questions and just get some advice on what to take. And you have advisors there in the classroom helping you and sometimes online. And it's a good way to get in and get some advice from advisors in a group setting. We also have peer advising. We have highly trained students who do classroom presentations, and they also work our front desk and to provide phone assistance. So if you've ever called into the Office of Academic Advising, you've likely talked to one of our peer advisors. They are, like I said, they are highly trained. They go through intense academic advising training and are really great to help with enrollment assistance and general questions. And then finally, we have our front desk. We have an in-person and virtual front desk. We actually have 3 front desks. Our virtual front desk is through Microsoft Teams. We are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. Advisors and peers respond to inquiries and general questions in our virtual front desk. I was in there answering questions yesterday, so it can be an academic advisor, an intake advisor, a peer advisor, be our director. So everybody's in there helping out, but likely you'll reach an intake or a peer advisor in our front desk. If students are unsure which way to connect with us, start with the virtual or physical front desk. We have 3 physical desk locations. Our main location is in the administration building on the 1st floor. We also have offices in Markstein Hall on the 1st floor and then University Hall on the 2nd floor. So students have access to the Office of Academic Advising one way or another, Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. So we're always here for you and always try to reach out or try to connect with students as they come into us. Besides academic advising, the university has a number of student academic support services to help your student, including learning and learning and tutoring services and personalized academic success services, so PASS. Some of the learning and tutoring services are the Academic Success Center. They have in-person and online tutoring and an open study space available. We have supplemental instruction, which is out-of-class study and review sessions for difficult courses. Some of the courses include Chem 160, 201, 202, Econ 202, Psych 360. Those are just a couple of them. We have the STEM Success Center. So for those of you with students in majors in the sciences and in CSTEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, we have free walk-in in-person tutoring for a number of courses in biology, chemistry, computer science, math, and physics. We have a writing center. This is really great for students. They offer quick help. They have a quick help channel on Teams, so students can go in and just ask a quick question. They offer one-on-one appointments or drop-ins, so they can go in and meet with someone in the writing center one-on-one, either by appointment or they can just drop in when they have drop-in times. Students can submit their papers to the writing center for feedback. They won't edit your paper, but they'll give you feedback like, hey, you could work on this section, or you really want to tighten up that thesis statement. So students sometimes go in and say, here, edit this, and they won't do that, but they will help with everything else. They also offer webinars and writing on writing academically and then shared challenges with writing block, that kind of thing. So the Writing Center is a great resource for students who are stuck or just need a little extra help. We have personalized academic success services. This is our PASS office. They offer student support, transition counseling, and academic coaching. They'll help with goal development. They offer workshops on academic and personal development. We refer students to PASS all of the time who need support, who may have been placed on academic probation, students who are at risk for probation, students who have been disqualified, and students who are looking to be reinstated. PASS will work with them one-on-one to help them be more successful in petitioning to return or to get themselves off of probation. Okay, so we know that sending a student off to college represents a major milestone in your life and their life, and it's a significant investment. I understand, I'm going to be there with you in a minute. However, college is a time for your student to foster independence, which is why we encourage your student to come meet with us on their own. As advisors, this is an important opportunity for us to connect with your student and build a relationship with them. support them in their academic career. But it's also the responsibility of the student to meet with their advisor. So we recommend that you help your student by empowering them to meet with us on their own and to advocate for themselves. You can also help your student